Video, and if you really think that I'm doing some good work, please do subscribe my YouTube channel. And hi everyone, I'm back with a new video. So आज के इस वीडियो में हम लोग देखेंगे कि हम लोग बेसिक MCP सर्वर्स कैसे बना सकते हैं. हम लोग ये भी देखेंगे कि how we can create a environment, how we can establish an environment for creating an MCP server, and we are going to create a basic and simple MCP server. Okay, so for creation of these MCP server, I'm going to use this particular site that is called modelcontextprotocol.io. Okay, so here you could see that I can create these MCP servers in 5 different languages, that is Python, Node, Java, Kotlin, and C Sharp. Okay, so right now I'm going to use Visual Studio Code. Like I'm going to use Python to create these MCP server, and I'm going to use this MCP server inside the Claude. This is the Claude. This is the Claude application, and I'm going to use this application. Now let's start. The first step is to set up the UV environment to install this particular UV. So this UV environment I have already installed. This installer I have already installed into my system. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to create a directory and create a virtual environment and install all the dependencies related to MCP. Okay, so this is my workspace, and in this particular folder, in this MCP servers folder, I'm going to create another folder called. So for creating these MCP server, I'm going to create those. I will create a folder inside this particular MCP servers folder, and inside that folder I will be setting up all the environment. Okay, so let's create a folder. I'm just opening it in a new dedicated terminal. Okay, and okay, so now I'm going to create the project, that Python project for this particular, and naming it as MCPs. Okay, and here you could see that inside this particular MCP servers folder, a folder has been created, that is MCPs, and inside that all the dependent Python environment is being created. Now I'm just going inside these MCPs and install the virtual environment. Okay, so for installing the virtual environment, again I'm going to use UV installer to install create the virtual environment, that is UV venv, and I'm just naming it as MCP venv. Okay, I'm just naming this particular MCP virtual environment as MCP venv. Okay, I have executed it, and inside this particular MCP's folder, you could see that another folder is being created, and in this folder all the dependencies for that particular virtual environment is here. Okay, so it is here. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to activate this particular virtual environment. To activate it, I'm just moving inside the script folder, so MCP venv and cd scripts and /activate. So after activate, okay, there is some issue with this. Okay, so basically this is not digitally signed, so I have a query. This particular issue I'm facing in other other projects also. So for resolving that, I'm using this this bypass query. Okay, so this will not check. I'm executing it, and now I'm going to activate the environment. So the environment is being activated here, and here we could see that inside this parenthesis we have MCP venv, which shows that the MCP venv environment is being activated. So whatever, now we will install all those package dependencies will installed inside these virtual environment. Okay, so let's go to that particular site. So we have created the directory, we have created the virtual environment. Now we are going to install this MCP package. Okay, this MCP package, and using this will install all the inside this lib folder, scripts folder, all those package dependencies will be installed. So we have installed all the dependencies which is related for creating all the MCP servers. Now what we are going to do, we are going to create a Python file. Okay, so for creating that Python file, I'm just going to right click here, new file, and I'm just naming it as mcps.py. okay, and this will be my new py. Okay, so this will be my Python file. And now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to add all these import headers. Okay, so this I will be using this particular query. Let me explain you what these query means. So right now I'm using these different dependencies called MCPs, dependency, for creating the MCP server, and I'm just naming it as MCPs. Okay, and I'm just and this is the weather API URL. Okay, so this is the first where we are in the initializing a MCP server, and these are the constants. Now this involves three things. First, we initialize the MCP server. Basically, we create a MCP server, and then we create tools inside those MCP server. So for creating those tools, these are some helper functions for weather application. Basically, it's a weather MCP server which will fetch all the weather related to the current weather, and it will fetch and give it to your Claude application. Okay, so I'm just showing you a basic demo how to create and move forward. Then we will manually create different tools. Okay, so this will be the actual tool. Here you could see using this @mcp.tool, you can create different tool, and make sure that all the tools which you are creating, all the definitions, all the methods, these methods which you are creating, this should be in the async method. Okay, this should be a asynchronous method. So I'm just copying all these methods and I'm just putting it here. So here is the tool. I have two different tools. First is to get alerts. Basically, what is the alert? Let's suppose if I give want the data for the US state, if there is any future alerts, so that will be fetched here. And if we want to check the forecast, like what will be the future weather of this particular location. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this server initialization. So here you could see that. Okay, so so for this server initialization, we have two different methods. So for transport, we have stdio.in, and we have sse. So if any of the MCP servers are deployed on the server itself, are going to use the sse. Okay, instead of stdu, use sse. Or if you have some MCP server which is locally created and you are using it locally, then use stdio. So this MCP server is being created right now. So I have just taken all those methods. I'm not going into the deep down what inside these methods what it is doing. I'm just giving a basic overview that it has two tools to get the alert and to forecast what is the weather of the this thing. Okay, now I have these things. I have created the MCP server. Now I have to use it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the Claude application. So I'm just opening my Claude application, and here you could see to this menu option, go to developer, go to file, then settings, and click on developers option, edit config. So when you click on edit config, there is a config called Claude underscore desktop underscore config dot JSON. Okay, and inside this JSON you need to add a location of your MCP server. Okay, so I'm just opening it inside a notepad, and if you could see this particular website, so we have created all this server, and now this is the syntax for adding your MCP server inside this Python, inside this JSON file, and this is the syntax. I'm just copying it. We need to do some changes. Let me show you what changes I'm going to do. So this is my MCP server, Control A, Control V, and instead of weather, we need to give the actual MCP server name. So my actual MCP server name I have created is MCPs, Control V, and I want the absolute path, basically where it is being located. So I want the absolute path. So what I will do, I will go here and copy, right click and copy so this is the path I have. Let me check one more time. This is for Mac actually. We want it for Python side, like for Windows it would be like this. So we want double this thing backslash. So let me do it like this. and the name of the MCP server is mcp.py. This is the location, this is the actual location, that is python.mcp server inside MCP's folder. So I'm just going to save this I'm going to save this notepad file, and I'm going to check the Claude application. Okay, and we need to restart it. Okay, so I'm just closing it and restarting the Claude application. This is the only issue with the Claude, that whenever you are creating any of this MCP server, you need to restart your PC or Claude every time to load those MCP servers. Okay, so Windows. Okay, so I have started my Claude application. So when I have started my Claude application, you could see a hammer sign here. Okay, and it shows two MCP tools available. Okay, and these MCP tools are those methods, or you can call those functions, which we have created inside that particular mymcps.py file. Okay, so the Claude is able to figure it out that we have two MCP server, and we can find get like use that tool also. Okay, so let's suppose if I want the today's weather for CA, let's suppose Canada. So what it will do, it will check those MCP tool. Okay, so here you could see that it is asking me to allow those MCP tool. So what it will do, it will go to that particular MCP tool, run the go to the weather's API and get the data for us. Okay, so this is how MCP server works, and in the further videos what we will do, we will create MCP servers that to execute commands to SQL server or databases, or we will create a MCP tool for doing the internet search, okay, using the Brave API. So this is what we are going to do. So here you could see that I am happy to find the weather for California, and the weather is 33°F. Okay, and it got the weather, it got the data in this way. Okay, it got the data from that particular API in this way. What it does, it summarize the data and give us in this particular format. And this is where LLM tool works. Like whenever I am asking a question, it will convert that question based on those MCP tools, and it will select which MCP to be executed. It will execute that MCP, get the data, and then summarize the data based on those result sets. Okay, so this is how a MCP tool or MCP server works. Thank you for watching this video. If you're watching this particular video, and if you really think that I'm doing some good work, please do subscribe my YouTube channel. And if you are seeing this on an Instagram channel, please do subscribe and let me know in comments what are your views, and is I'm able to explain these concepts to you all or not. Okay, thank you so much. Have a good day.